You are trying to do gentle parenting, and your relatives and family members, mother-in-law, mom, tell you that you're becoming permissive, that you're too soft, that you should be more stern, that you should smack them, that you should yell at them. And then you're kind of like biting your nails, not feeling that comfortable parenting in front of your relatives. On this video, I'm going to share with you how to, number one, feel comfortable gentle parenting your kids in front of your relatives. Number two, how to set boundaries with them. And number three, how to protect our kids, because it's about protecting them as well from insensitive comments and from them trying to parent your kid. If you are new to me, hello, my name is Marcela Collier. I'm a certified parenting coach and founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. My team of coaches and I have served 14,151 parents. Break free from reactivity, bring peace to your parenting, and raise emotionally secure children. And I know that if you are wanting to do gentle parenting, respectful parenting, or at least move away from chancla and yelling, is because you want your children to grow up feeling secure and connected, and you want your children to not have your traumas. I understand you, and it is possible. But then the struggle happens when they break one of Nona's uh, flower pots, or when they get into conflict with their little cousins, and then your sister-in-law spanks their kid, and then she expects you to spank yours or to yell at yours the same way she's did it with doing it with her kids. And then everybody's looking at you as your kids are misbehaved because you are gentle parenting. Is that you? Is that you? Let me know in the comments if you relate to any of these things, or if you have an interesting story. I would love to hear it. Let me know in the comments as well. So, number one, why are they criticizing you? And this one has to do with their values, what they value. They value compliance over relationship. They value obedience over children having a voice and growing up feeling secure and emotionally healthy. And they value rules and regulations over children having their needs met. So they're criticizing you because their value system conflicts with your own value system. And because they don't understand your value system, it is easy for them to criticize it instead of getting curious and trying to understand your value system. So they don't criticize you because you're a bad parent and because you don't know how to parent your children. It's because they don't understand your value system. I hope that this alone will help you take a deep breath and relax and kind of like feel like a lot more comfortable with what you stand for. So it is important, in order for them, for you to successfully say, hey, I don't care about what you think. I'm going to parent my son, my daughter in a gentle way or in a kind way, regardless of your opinions. That confidence gives you when you are very convicted, or uh, is that the right word? When you are very committed to your own values, to honoring your own value system. Number two, so let's talk about setting boundaries. Because setting boundaries is very confusing for a lot of people who grew up not knowing how to set boundaries themselves. They were controlled, and they were, you might have lived in a very ruled environment, but you did not grow up knowing what it is to set a boundary yourself. So it might get really confusing. I already told them to not tell me, to not comment on my parenting. That's not a boundary. That's not setting a boundary, because boundaries is, what am I going to do So my values are honored, and this require for the other person do nothing, to do nothing. So it could be as simple as, don't worry, I'll take care of it, to as extreme as, I'm going to leave your house right now. Or if you don't refrain from trying to parent my son, my daughter, I'm going to leave your house. Now, what about if they get angry with me? That's a possibility. It is a possibility that they're going to argue back, that they're going to gaslight you. Gaslighting may seem like making you seem that you're the crazy one, or they might shame you, saying that you're the one who's making things very dramatic and over the top. And it's about how well can you survive, or how well can you coexist with other people's opinions and will and behavior. So it is important to understand these concepts, because otherwise we're going to keep fighting against the world, and fighting and fighting and fighting against them without seeing any result, because we cannot change their minds. And when it comes to boundary setting, it's not about changing their minds. They might still be well thinking for the rest of their lives that you're a permissive parent, but how can you minimize the impact that that's having in your emotional well-being, in your child's emotional well-being? So the way to minimize it is setting boundaries. What can you do so you are not exposed to it? I already gave you an example. Another example could be, how much would you be willing to share about your parenting with them? A very simple way that I communicate with my in-laws is, let's just say my son is doing something that they don't approve of, and they try to say something. I go and stop. Hey, wait. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. But he deserves a spanking and this and that and all these things that I don't approve of. Instead of arguing back, I'm like, I understand your concern and you really want my son to behave well. I'll take care of it. Boom. Period. End of the story. And I don't tell them what I'm gonna do. They just don't know that I'm gonna do something about it. Okay. So understanding why they're against you, which is there is a conflict in family values. Number two, knowing how to set boundaries, which is what I would do to honor my values. And number three is about protecting our kids. So protecting our kids could be physically removing them, could be, hey, no, I'm gonna talk to him. Or it could be directly saying, hey, that's not a kind way to talk to my son. I will talk to him, regardless of how they will react. And they might not like you for it. Are you willing to live with that? If the answer is no, then take an assessment about what's happening. What's more important at that particular moment, or what's in more of jeopardy? What's in jeopardy at that moment? Your child's emotional well-being or your relationship with them? And what has more weight? That could help you make a decision as well. Either of one, like if you take either or the other side, I'm not condemning you for it. Like it's your decision. You just have to be very clear about what your priorities are, whether it's keeping and maintaining the relationship and the connection with your relatives, or your child's well-being. Whatever your priority is, that's where your priority, that's what it is. Nobody can change it. But for you to be clear of what the priority is, and putting that on the front line and above everything, that requires courage. That requires, yes, a lot of courage, um, and willingness to be misunderstood by on either side. Because I've seen as well children who grew up not feeling defended by their parents, and then later in life they are their parents' judge. Then the confrontation is with their own kids. So either side, you are willing to take a risk and to pay a price. Which one are you willing to take? So that's how you basically, that's what to do, what to say to your relatives when they tell you, hey, you're being permissive. That's the sign. Let's just say they straight up tell you, hey, you're being permissive. What would you say? I would tell you what I would say. If the relative is important enough for me, I would try to ask a little. I would ask more questions. What do you mean by that? Is that you don't spank them? I'm like, okay, if that's what permissiveness looks like for you, then yes, I am permissive. Is that you don't have discipline for them? Okay, would you be open to learn what my method of discipline is? And if they are, then I explain it to them. And if not, then I keep it to myself. I don't need to explain my parenting to others. If you are like, Marcela, but I don't know, sometimes I feel so nervous and kind of like I don't know how even to get my child to listen to me. And sometimes I do feel permissive myself, and I do doubt myself. I wish I had this confidence in my parenting, and I for sure knew that I'm doing the right thing. If that is you, I have an invitation for you. I have a free class on my website, hicparenting.com, where I share with you the system that I taught my clients in HIC parenting to raise emotionally healthy children with peace and, importantly, with accountability. This is a four-step process that once you start embodying it or applying it in your family, you're going to start gaining their cooperation a lot sooner. You are going to feel calmer. The home environment is going to get a lot easier. You can find this free class right now on hicparenting.com, hicparenting.com, where I'm going to leave a card up here, or it's in the description below this video. I'm very curious. Where is your family from? And how is like, what is one thing that you're told by your family members about your parenting? For example, my family is Colombian, and I've been told, hey, you don't discipline your kids because they've never seen me smacking them, which is crazy because they're used to the chancla culture. And I worked with clients from China, from India, from last week, I coached a couple from Netherlands, from all over the world, who tell me all these stories of relatives telling them things about their parenting is crazy. You are not alone. You are not alone. Let me know in the comments what it is. Share this podcast episode, not podcast, this video. I was just done recording the podcast, the Parenting with Understanding podcast, and it was stuck in my head. It's still stuck in my head, but this is not a podcast, this is a video. If you could please share this video with your spouse, with your sister, with your friend, with your coworker, the person that you share parenting stuff with, let them know, hey, maybe this will help us feel a lot more confident and secure when we are in the Christmas holiday gathering with our parents, with our sister-in-law, with our brother-in-law, with our own parents, with our father-in-law, our mother-in-law. Did I say all of them? I hope I did. Remember, it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to transform your parenting. I'll see you next time.